Hi, good morning everybody. So for today's session, we're going to be covering on support and resistance. Okay, this is a very common topic usually talked about in most technical analysis course, but I would say not many people really fully grasp the power of this topic, support and resistance, because even though it's commonly taught, it is by far probably one of the most important indicators, price action tool you need to use to get a good grasp of market price action and how the various support and resistance levels will affect future prices. Okay, so in this session as well, we're going to be firming up your understanding of these two terms, support and resistance, so that when it comes to you analyzing your own charts, you know where to draw the support and resistance. We want to be able to draw the same level as what most common people would be looking at and how they would be drawing. Because if your lines are different from what other people would perceive or look at the charts, then it wouldn't serve any purpose. Okay, so we want to be drawing the same support and resistance lines most market participants would be drawing. Okay, so let's quickly dive into the charts. I'm just using Bitcoin as an example. Bitcoin is definitely a very technically driven market. A lot of the price action is driven by technical setups, and therefore, if you are trading Bitcoin, actually it works the same for equity markets or any other markets out there. But Bitcoin, we'll just be using this as an example. You see how powerful support and resistance will determine the price moves. So let's pull out this chart on Bitcoin, and over here we have a chart since 2015 all the way to present day, but let's dive into the area before the big crash. Okay, let's look at the overall price action first. So resistance basically means that price is trying to break new highs, but it's finding difficulty breaking new highs. Alright, support likewise would mean that prices are finding difficulty to break a key price level, and hence we call that level a support level. Okay, so let's take a look at the price on Bitcoin. Now, for what you see on the screen, the price on Bitcoin has been in an uptrend, right? Just for this time frame that we're looking at. So what are the support and resistance lines? If you're looking at the chart, let's give you 3 seconds maybe. 3, 2, 1. Okay, very quickly, let me just draw it out for you, alright? So, definitely this line here would be a resistance line. When prices was trying to break above this line back then, when it was trading at about 2,600, 2,700, this 2984 was difficult to break, right? Tested once, tested twice, and then on its third try, finally it managed to break out. So this resistance line would then become what we call a resistance turn support. Okay, this is what we call a resistance turn support. That means a key price level of resistance which prices was finding difficulty to break through. Finally, we managed to break it through in this candle here, and then this level 2984 now becomes a support level. Notice when price managed to break out of this level and traded higher, and over here when it started taking a dip in prices, saw how it bounced off this key level 2984, because this is a support. Now for the more times a price level is being tested and being proven as a key level, whether is it a resistance level or a support level, then this price level becomes more significant. So in future setups, whenever you are looking at a key level, now the key level gets even more important the more times it gets tested. Yeah. So in the event it gets tested again and again and again, then watch out for that level. If we do get a break, whether it's from the top side entering downside, breaking it as a support, or from the bottom side you are breaking the resistance and heading higher, that is a key level. Now if you are breaking a key level which has been tested many times, then the future price movement of the breakout would likely be even larger. Okay, even larger. Right, so let's try again. So now it traded higher, and notice that this was a high. This was a high. So what happens is that this will be sort of like a key resistance turn support again. Okay, resistance turn support. Notice that price broke out higher. It traded back down just shy of touching the key support level, and then it headed back up again. So this is the same thing, right? Resistance turn support, resistance turn support. Notice that we traded up to a high of here, and then prices couldn't break out. It finally broke out on this level, and then it retested the support again. So resistance turn support. This trend happens again and again, yeah? Now, notice there's one here as well, retested, headed higher, and this becomes a key level. Watch out how this line especially becomes such a key level. When prices of Bitcoin became parabolic at one point, that was in December 2017, it was just trading out of so much momentum. Definitely, if we do get a retracement, it would definitely retest back to a key level. So this resistance back then, when price tested the highs of here, it traced back down, and then finally we get the breakout. This would likewise also be a resistance turn support. And when it became a support level, notice how when Bitcoin retraced back down during this period, it proved to be a strong support and it couldn't break. Even at this level, when Bitcoin was finding new directions, it was trending at this, what we call, I would say, a support turn resistance as well. Because when we traded back towards this time frame, notice that when it came back down into this new price range, it was finding difficulty breaking out of this range, and it was caught in this range for a few months. And you saw how the power of resistance turn support is so true, because when it broke down, it would be trending against the next price channel. Okay. So, and one more point here about support and resistance is that you need to understand the power of recency. Okay, maybe a key support line back then in the 1980s or 1990s, it would serve as less importance compared to a more recent support or resistance line. So, for instance, over here, when Bitcoin took a backseat and it was trading lower and lower and lower, lower highs, we saw that there was this key support level around this area here, right? Support about 6,000. 6,000, that was a key support level. Bitcoin tested it once back down here. Okay, tested twice, tested thrice, tested 4 times, 5 times. This was a very strong area of support. Okay. And usually what happens is that if you test support many times, and each time when you test it and you bounce back up, it becomes a lower high, then the energy of breaking down the support actually gets even larger, because it just means that the support over time, the forces of breaking down the support is getting larger and larger and pushes price to be so near that support level. And over a long period of time, that usually happens where the support will just break down. And you saw how when it broke down, saw how the prices of Bitcoin just flushed down all the way back down to 3,000. It's almost like a 50% decline from prices when it was up at 6,000 down to 3,000. And therefore this support line would be a key resistance again. So likewise, when you saw when prices was trading much lower in this trend, finally it managed to come close to testing this support again. The momentum was so strong, it managed to take it out in the first try. But when it took out this resistance in the first try, notice how it became a resistance turn support again. Saw how it tested it again, and then it started trending higher. So going forward, this 6,000 mark would definitely be a key level that market participants will be looking at. Okay, so in a nutshell, that is the idea here of looking at support and resistance. Usually it plays out when you're looking at the most recent price action. Take note of the last recent highs, the recent lows, and see how many times it tests this key level. The more times it tests the key level, it becomes a stronger key level to look out for. And if we do get a breakout of a key level, then the likelihood of a big breakout is even more likely. Okay, so now as we are heading into Bitcoin, notice that the overall price action is still bullish, and you see that there is this key level that is looking at, right, about 14,000. 14,000, we are now just shy of breaking out we might get a pullback in prices, but also note that if we do get a breakout of this 14,000, there's a good chance we will hit higher. And if we hit higher, what is the next key resistance we're looking at? If we do get a breakout of this level, then definitely the next price action we're looking at is at the 19,000 level. I would say 20,000 level. That is all-time high on Bitcoin. Okay, so hopefully this has been a helpful session. If you have any doubts, any questions, feel free to write back to us, or you can also just rewatch the video. This power of being able to identify support and resistance has been very, very useful, very helpful. So if you are able to include that in your setup, very sure that your trading journey would be a much more fruitful one. Okay, with that, let's put an end to this session, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Okay, see you.